You were drafted by Baltimore. That's right.
Yeah.
So back in the day, were you surprised John Harbaugh is changing addresses now? Kyle.
Yeah, I was. That was a big shock for me. I kind of assumed that he was entrenched there until he wanted to be done coaching. And I know how close he was with everybody there. And I kind of figured, the guys that are in charge there, they would be there until they all decided that they wanted to move on to something new. So for him to move on and go to New York, it was a big surprise. And I think I had said even before they had a head coach that I felt like the Giants had a ton of potential going forward, and that if I was a head coaching candidate, that's one of the first places I would want to go in this offseason. And now with a coach like him, like I feel like they are set up for some major success next year.
Kyle Juszczyk here on the Rich Eisen Show. So how would you term the 49ers season, Kyle? What word would you use? What Harvard adjective would you use, Kyle, for this season?
Man, I feel it was a successful season. That I truly feel I see it that way. Obviously, I'm going to catch flack. Someone's going to say, "How is it successful? You didn't win the Super Bowl." Yeah, well, 31 teams don't win the Super Bowl. So are we all unsuccessful? No, I don't think so. I think you're always building towards something. And I think if we're just being realistic in the season that we were headed into, we knew that we were going to have to rely on a lot of new people, a lot of young guys. We're going to have to step up and play in roles that they've never been asked to do. And it was going to be just kind of one of those seasons that we just needed to figure it out and figure out what is this team now, because the Niners, we were transitioning. We're moving from an era, where we had Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, and we had all these offensive weapons, and we had this defense that was just perennial Pro Bowlers that were stopping everybody. And this was just a new year. And then you tacked on all the injuries. We had to find out, what era are we going into with the Niners? And I think with all the adversity that we had to deal with, and we won 12 regular season games, we won a wild card game against the defending champions. That it's hard for me not to say that wasn't a successful season.
Hey, Kyle, I'll even raise you. I see you and raise you. I think it was highly successful. Highly successful. You were, I'm looking at your numbers here. 17 games started, which, by the way, is amazing on your team. Not many were able to say I've started 17 games for the 2025 San Francisco 49ers, because listen, there's injuries and there's adversity. You guys were playing for the right to host everybody in the playoffs, and obviously, and we'll get to the Seahawks in a second with you, but that was highly successful. And I'm just wondering, what you saw behind the scenes that was it Kyle Shanahan's secret sauce? Was it just a group of guys? Because this year's, success, high success, is only going to give better amounts of playing time experience to the guys who were the next men up, right? And they're going to be the guys maybe of the future there, Kyle. Right?
That's exactly how I see this thing. And that's what gets me so excited and fired up for the upcoming season, is that, for all the success that we had this season, all right, now let's bring back Nick Bosa, let's bring back Fred Warner, Mikael Williams, and let's add some high round draft picks. Let's add some really good free agents. And we're not scheduled to lose too much. Like, I feel like we're really just adding on, and you just added all that experience to all the young guys, like all those rookies, all those second-year guys. Now they've played in a playoff game, and they won in a playoff game on the road. So, like, for me, it's just like we just built all that up, and we're bringing that into next season. And you just got me fired up and excited at the end of the question that I forgot about what the beginning was.
Okay, no. Like, why were you able to be so successful? Like,
it's never one answer. I think it's definitely a combination of things. Kyle is an absolutely incredible coach. So, his scheme is always a huge thing, but I think so much of it was leadership this year, and a culture that we have in that building. And we go all the way back to OTAs, excuse me. And Kyle had all the players on the team that had been with the Niners for 3 years or more, had him over to his house, had us over for dinner, and just kind of reframed and restructured the way we wanted to look at this season. For, 5 seasons or so in a row, we're talking NFC championships, we're talking Super Bowls, we're talking 1 seeds. And like, that was the expectation. And that's, what we set out to do. This year, he wanted to reframe that. Yes, of course, that's always going to be your goal at the end of this whole thing. But he just wanted to reframe it in that, hey, let's just get better every single week. And let's just see where we're at the end of the season. Because there really was no way to know at the beginning of the year what this team was going to be. And I think we took that perspective of, all right, let's just get better, see how the cards, lay out. And let's take a real big focus as leaders, as guys that have been here and know what our culture is. And each one of us, let's grab a rookie, let's grab a second-year guy, let's take him under our wing, and let's show him how we do this thing. And I think that just made a huge impact on us. And as leaders, as captains of the team, like, that was something we were talking about all offseason, is like, all right, hey, we got to bring these guys along. Like, it's not going to be enough that we just know what to do and we go do it. Like, we're going to need these guys in order to succeed. So we got to bring them along.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.